Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time we're headed to Spain to explore their cybersecurity scene.
Oh, Spain.
Yeah. And I bet you're thinking paella and flamenco dancing. But no, we're diving deep into their world of cybersecurity with a really cool interview.
I'm intrigued.
Two experts, right. One from Spain's intelligence agency, the Centro Cryptologico Nacional.
Wow.
I know. And the other from their military cyber command. They gave this interview at a big cybersecurity event they co-host, so it's like we're getting a backstage pass to how Spain tackles cybersecurity and their role on the global stage.
So it's not just about protecting Spain itself. It's about their part in the global cybersecurity landscape.
Exactly. And this event, get this, it's called the STIC Jornadas and Ciberdefensa Jornadas. Basically, think cybersecurity and cyber defense conferences all rolled into one.
Okay.
This year was their 18th and 6th anniversaries. Can you believe it?
Wow, that's a long time, 18 years. They must have started small.
You know it. They started with a tiny group, like only 100 people, and now...
Like 1,000.
More. Over 13,000 attendees this year.
That's massive.
It's basically a cybersecurity festival now, so yeah, they've definitely grown. But the real kicker, it's not just some techie meetup.
Oh.
It's organized by Spain's intelligence agency, the CCN, and their joint cyberspace command.
So, serious players right from the start.
Right. But it doesn't stop there. NCB, their National Cybersecurity Institute, and Red Académica Española, their academic network, are also heavily involved.
So it sounds like Spain is taking a very collaborative approach to cybersecurity.
That's the thing. They are. It's not just a government or military thing. It's everyone working together.
Makes sense because cyber attacks can target anyone and everyone.
Exactly. And that leads us to the theme of this year's event. Ready for this? It's Ciberdefensa Activa para un Mundo Digital.
Okay, that sounds important, but translate that for me.
Active cyber defense for a digital world. Basically, it's about being proactive and anticipating threats, not just reacting when things go wrong.
It's like having a good immune system, constantly working to stay healthy.
Exactly. So instead of waiting to get punched, you're training, building up your defenses, ready to fight back.
That's a good analogy.
So what are some examples? Well, they talked about multi-factor authentication.
You mean like when you need a code from your phone on top of your password?
That's the one. It's like an extra layer of security to keep those accounts safe.
Right, because passwords alone just aren't enough anymore.
And then there's machine-to-machine authentication, which is huge with the Internet of Things growing like crazy.
That's all those smart devices, right?
Yeah.
Refrigerators, thermostats, even cars.
All connected, but all potentially vulnerable. So they need to be able to trust each other, communicate securely without us humans getting involved every time.
Okay, so that makes sense. What else did they discuss?
Secure DNS, or domain name system.
Remind me what that is again?
Basically, it's the Internet's phone book.
Ah, right, translating those website names into IP addresses.
And if DNS gets messed with, attackers can send you to fake websites without you even realizing it. Imagine thinking you're on your bank's website, but you're really giving your info to hackers.
Scary.
Scary stuff. But the good news, using a secure DNS service can help protect you. There are some reliable ones out there.
Got it. What else stood out?
Oh, they're Red National DSOCs.
Their national network of what?
Security Operations Centers. Think of it like a cybersecurity dream team.
Okay, so what makes it so special?
They bring together government agencies, private companies, even universities. Everyone sharing info about cyber threats and coordinating how to fight back.
Strength in numbers, huh?
Totally. And it works. They can detect and respond to attacks much faster than if everyone was working alone. Other countries are taking notice, actually.
They're seeing the value in that collaborative approach.
Exactly. And then there's the proactive stuff, like, get this, honeypots.
Honeypots? What are those?
Basically, traps for hackers. They set up these decoy systems to lure them in.
That's clever. So they're basically catching flies in a spider web.
You got it. And then they can study how the hackers operate, what tools they use, and build even better defenses.
Sounds like Spain is really taking this whole active cyber defense thing seriously.
Oh, yeah, they are. Investing in tech, building the infrastructure, and get this, they even have programs to get university students involved.
Like cybersecurity boot camps.
Kind of. They're fostering the next generation of cybersecurity experts. Because, let's face it, we need them.
Right. With cyber threats becoming more and more sophisticated, we need all the bright minds we can get.
Absolutely. But, it's not all sunshine and roses. There's some serious challenges they're facing, too, and it's not just about technology.
Oh, like what?
Well, for one, keeping up with all the new cybersecurity regulations.
Regulations, huh? Like what?
Think EU directives like NIS2, the Digital Operational Resilience Act, DORA for short. And then there's Spain's own national security scheme, the Esquema Nacional de Seguridad.
Yikes. So it's not just about stopping hackers, it's about navigating a whole legal maze, too.
Exactly. And that leads us to another big challenge.
What's that?
The talent shortage. Finding and keeping skilled cybersecurity pros is a global headache.
Yeah, I've heard about that. More jobs than people to fill them.
Exactly. And then there's cybercrime itself. It's evolved way beyond just some kids stealing credit card numbers. It's a whole different beast now.
So what are we talking about?
We're talking organized crime, nation states, hacktivist groups. The stakes are higher, the motives more complex, and the targets. Well, they're not just after your wallet anymore.
Sounds like a whole new world of trouble.
It is. And then, of course, there's the growing importance of military operations in cyberspace, cyber warfare, as they call it.
Cyber warfare? That sounds intense.
It is. Think espionage, disrupting communications, even attacking critical infrastructure. It's a whole new battlefield.
Makes sense, I guess. So much of our lives are online now. It was only a matter of time before warfare moved there, too.
Exactly. And Spain's taking it seriously. They've even got a dedicated cyberspace command now.
Wow. So we've got regulations, talent shortages, cybercrime, cyber warfare. Are there any other challenges?
Oh, yeah. Remember how we talked about technology?
Yeah, the constant race to stay ahead of the bad guys.
Well, that's a challenge in itself. Staying on top of those innovations, making sure your tech is secure, is a full-time job.
So what specific technologies are they focusing on?
AI is huge right now. Artificial intelligence. It's kind of a double-edged sword, though.
How so?
Attackers are using it to make their attacks even more sophisticated, but defenders are also using it to analyze data, spot patterns, and even automate some of their responses.
So it's a tool that can be used for good or evil.
Exactly. It's like an arms race. Both sides trying to outsmart each other with AI.
What other tech are they watching?
Quantum computing is another big one.
Oh, I've heard about that, but it sounds so futuristic.
It kind of is. But basically, it's this super fast computing that has the potential to break the encryption we use today.
Wait, so our passwords, bank accounts, everything could be vulnerable?
Potentially, yeah. But luckily, experts are already working on new encryption methods that are quantum resistant. It's called post-quantum cryptography.
So they're thinking ahead, even though quantum computing is still pretty early stage.
They're trying to, because who knows what the future holds. But hey, we've only just scratched the surface.
There's still so much more to discuss, like what specific cyber attacks are they facing? And how exactly are they using this active cyber defense approach?
And what does all this mean for the rest of the world? How is Spain influencing the global cybersecurity landscape? All that and more when we come back. Okay, so let's get into those specifics. What kind of cyber attacks are they dealing with in Spain? Is it just the usual stuff like phishing emails and ransomware, or is there something more going on?
Oh, it's definitely more than just the usual stuff. Remember we were talking about those sophisticated attacks? The ones with the military objectives?
Yeah, that's what really got me thinking. They're not just dealing with some teenager in their basement, right?
Right. These attacks, they're highly planned, very targeted. We're hacking skilled hackers, serious resources, probably nation-state-backed groups, maybe even organized cybercrime syndicates.
So are they trying to, take over the world, steal state secrets? What are they after?
Well, world domination is always a possibility, but they mentioned that some attacks have been specifically targeting data from the Spanish Ministry of Defense.
The Ministry of Defense. So they're going after strategic information.
Yeah, probably trying to get a military or political advantage.
It's not just about stealing money or disrupting things. It's about gaining power, influencing decisions.
And remember how we talked about AI earlier? Well, it's playing a big role in making these attacks even more sophisticated.
AI, right. It's helpful for defense, but it also gives attackers new tools. Can you give me an example of how AI is being used in these attacks?
Sure. Imagine this. An attacker uses AI to analyze tons of data from social media, public records, maybe even leaked information.
Okay, I'm following.
And they use that data to create these super convincing phishing campaigns. But not just general phishing emails. They're targeted at specific individuals within the Ministry of Defense.
Oh, wow. So it's not just a random, you won the lottery email.
No, it's something that looks like it's coming from a trusted source, maybe even a colleague. The AI can tailor the language, the tone, everything to make it really tempting to click on a link or download a file.
It's like an AI-powered con artist. Makes you think twice about clicking on anything these days.
You got to be careful.
Yeah.
But hey, the good news is that AI is being used to strengthen defenses too.
So it's not all bad news?
Nope. Defenders are using AI to automate a lot of the routine tasks in cybersecurity. Stuff like threat detection and incident response.
So they can focus on the bigger picture.
Exactly. It's like having an AI assistant working alongside the cybersecurity team, helping them sort through all the noise and find the real threats.
That makes sense. And remember those workshops we talked about? The ones by Red Academica Española?
Yeah, the hands-on labs and training.
Well, those play a big role in all this, too.
They're teaching people how to use the latest cybersecurity tools and techniques, including how to use AI for both offense and defense.
So it's not just theory. They're actually giving people the skills they need to fight back.
Right. And they're not just talking about security. They're really putting it into practice at the event itself.
Like how?
They use biometrics for registration and access control.
Biometrics, like fingerprint scanners and stuff?
Yep, things like facial recognition and fingerprint scanning. It's an extra layer of security. It makes it much harder for someone to, sneak in or pretend to be someone else.
So they're walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Makes sense. This event is starting to sound like something out of a spy movie.
It is pretty high-tech, but it shows how seriously they take security. And it's not just about protecting the event itself. It's about showcasing the latest technologies and strategies.
We've covered so much ground already, from tapas to AI-powered cyber attacks.
And we're not done yet. There's still more to unpack. Like, how does Spain fit into the global cybersecurity picture? What does their approach mean for the rest of the world?
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture. If Spain is becoming a leader in this whole active cyber defense thing, what does that mean for everyone else?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because cyberspace, well, it doesn't have any borders.
Right. What happens online in Spain doesn't stay in Spain.
Exactly. So Spain's approach, their focus on active cyber defense and that collaborative network, the Red National de SOCs, it could be a model for other countries.
You mentioned before that other countries are already looking at Spain's model. What makes it so special? Why is it working so well?
I think a big part of it is the emphasis on collaboration. They're breaking down those walls between government, private companies, and universities.
Because cybersecurity isn't just one group's problem.
Right. It's a shared responsibility. Everyone needs to be involved.
It's like, united we stand, divided we fall, but in the cyber world.
Exactly. By working together, sharing information, they're creating a much stronger defense.
It's like a neighborhood watch, but for the entire country, maybe even the whole world.
That's a great way to put it. And Spain is also working with international partners, sharing their expertise and best practices.
They're not just trying to protect themselves.
No, they're trying to raise the bar for everyone.
That's impressive. It seems like they're really making a difference on the global stage.
They are. And their proactive approach, the focus on collaboration and innovation, it's something other countries can learn from.
So what are the key takeaways here? What can other countries or even individuals and companies learn from Spain's example?
Well, first, I think it's about breaking down those silos. Cybersecurity can't be just one group's problem. It has to be a team effort.
So build bridges, not walls.
Exactly. And investing in education and training is crucial. Getting more people involved, teaching them the skills they need, that's how you build a strong defense.
And what about this whole active cyber defense idea? What does that mean for the average person?
It means being proactive. Don't wait for something bad to happen. Stay informed about the latest threats, be careful about what you click on, and make sure you're using strong passwords.
It's like, don't just wait for the fire alarm to go off. Make sure you have a fire extinguisher and know how to use it.
Exactly. And support companies and organizations that are taking cybersecurity seriously.
It's a team effort for sure. This deep dive has been so eye-opening. I had no idea Spain was such a force in the cybersecurity world.
They are. And their story shows us that cybersecurity is a global challenge, and we need global solutions.
It's not just about the technology either. It's about people, processes working together. Well, this has been a fascinating journey into the world of Spanish cybersecurity and their unique approach to staying ahead of the curve. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
And to our listeners, stay safe out there in the digital world, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive.